Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, to another RGL cast. My name is Jarrett, and here with Space Coast to bring you guys 3D3M versus the Covenant. This is RGL Invite 6's Season 11, Week 2B, and this should be a pretty interesting match. We got two teams that are floating around the playoffs area early on, trying to get some early wins to make sure you're solidified in the place that you want to be in the long haul, and got a lot of returning names to the invite scene that sometimes get cast a decent amount, and sometimes, only you see once a blue moon, so it's going to be a nice little clash that we get to see between these two teams, and we continue on with the era of Season 9 advanced players, like cores, moving up and making sure they have that core play and invite. But from the Covenant side, which is what that story is going to be from this time, it's not necessarily going to be fresh names. I think we only have one person that's going to be an invite debut, so should be a pretty nice showing, and I can't wait to see what happens, Space.
Yeah, this should be a pretty good matchup. We do have a lot of big names on both teams. Maybe not the biggest of names, but at least some names that stand out. If you've been watching for any period of time, probably recognize some of the players in the server. New collections of those players, new teams, and all that kind of stuff. But some familiar faces, maybe a handful of new faces, especially if you haven't been watching for a super long period of time. But this should be a good matchup: 3DM versus the Covenant. And yeah, where do we want to kick off? Maybe rosters or go into some war.
Yeah, let's talk about the rosters first. For the side of 3D3M, we have Rakuso and Raph on Scout, Walrix and Pauldog on Soldier, Nooch, also known as Vati, on Demo, and Mopsy on Medic.
And for the Covenant, we have Catface and Scratch on Scout, Grape Juice and Ash on Soldier. Ash is ringing. We have Sin Karma on Demo, and Hubada on Medic.
Yeah, that is an important note for the future. Kev is unable to play until next week, so Ash is ringing. I think they had Trip ring for their previous match, so just going through all the soldier players and just pulling out the ones out of the box that are available to make sure they can get their matches through and through until Kev is able to return. But like I said, a lot are familiar for names. The only one that's going to be I guess new to invite cast is going to be Raph. He's dabbled a bit in advance and main half seasons and subbing and the such, but hasn't really collected a lot of accolades to his name. Same could be said with a lot of people in this server. So there definitely is a large amount collectively that are trying to put their name out there, and who knows, maybe you can find a way to snipe yourself into playoffs and either get your first accolade or just add another to your belt. Probably going to vary depending on who you're referencing. As on the other side of the coin, you do have people that have had plenty of playoff experience, even grand finalist level, and the side of Hubada, who is the main medic for the Covenant, and Ash, who's just ringing for them this time around. So there's going to be a lot to watch. You want to keep the eye on the veterans who have been here for ages and see what they're capable of, but you also want to keep an eye on the new blood to just see what they're all about in the first place.
Most definitely. And I would say the scouts for 3D3M, they were definitely kind of like, I would consider them two pretty big pug scouts. Rakuso as a known pug annihilator on scout. He's done terrible things in pugs on scout just to the enemy team. Same thing with Raphael, another if you're familiar with the T2 pug scene, he's there a lot, but definitely I would consider 3D3M to be the team that has kind of more of a dark horse team, I would suppose, in terms of like I don't think they jump out quite as much on paper, at least on the classes they're on, but I think they have potential.
Yeah, I would definitely agree they're more of a dark horse team. Like, you look at all the names and they're pretty familiar, but you try to remember and keep track about what they've done as individuals on the previous teams. I mean, like they've held their own, but for the most part, it's a collective of like if look back on their history, maybe like mid invite, give or take, depending on
Yeah.
who you're looking at. And when you want to talk about being a playoff bubble team, like that's enough to call yourself a playoff bubble team, but is it enough to call yourself a playoff team? Well, you look at the side of the Covenant, you have Catface playoffs, Scratch who's played playoffs, Ash who's ringing for Kev, doesn't matter which person it is, playoffs, Sin Karma, playoffs,
Playoffs.
Hubada, grand finalist. Grape Juice, I mean, he just had his first season last time, but even then he already solidified himself with the Insect Gang in their second half of the season that he is, salt, or at least he's trying to solidify himself as the mid-invite player that he showed himself to be last season. So it's a big tell. It's going to be tough competition for them, but anything's possible. I think especially
True.
when it comes to Snakewater, it's such a snowbally type map. You only need one thing to go right, and if that one thing does, then that could be an easy way to collect a bunch of rounds and maybe even the match. So it could be really anyone's game, but we're having predictions roll off, as you can all tell from the backdrop and what we've been talking about, at least just a tad. The map is going to be Snakewater. So when it comes to score space, well, what are you kind of expecting between these two teams?
I think I think the Covenant should be favored on paper. I think they're definitely again, like they stand out, like you said, they have a lot of different, collections of players who have made playoffs before, done very well. Whereas I think 3D3M's more of, again, like the Dark Horse upset team, but I think they definitely have potential. They have enough, names, enough name recognition that I think they should be able to hold their own. I'm gonna say like 4-2 for the Covenant. I think that's possible, but I wouldn't be surprised if 3D and 3M pulled up some surprises here.
I have a similar line of thinking. I'm unsure how much direction 3M is going to have as a team overall, like who's going to be the leading force to, lead them to victory. I'll say like a 5-1 for the Covenant, but all it takes is a couple of these mids to go right your way, and you can find yourself on the dreaded Snakewater last. But before you even get to last, we have to get through the mid as we arrive. Both Domen trying to shoot each other a little bit have succeeded in that regard, but nothing in air won't fix, as doesn't seem like we're gonna have any
RX is just committing.
Yeah, actually, never mind. Looking wrong side of the map. That's a Domen is out of the picture. And Catface is on heavy. That's the big surprise.
Oh wait, did he do the stake rollout? I know they just unbanned they unbanned the stake, and I remember years ago people were talking about like if we ever unban the stake, we're gonna have heavies unbanned. It's gonna be the worst thing ever. Well, I think that's the first time we've seen it. So we have a heavy on Snakewater mid. Love to see it. With the new experimental technology. Now we have a heavy on second, but heavy on mid, I guess heavy's a pretty good defensive class here on the Tommyslav. It's constant damage.
Yeah, they didn't really lose, but they also did not win 3-3 in control of mid. They're trying to make some space to see if they can get some sort of sack in, but as Paul Dog enters the air, he realizes, yeah, a bit too much to chew. Heavy just mowing him down. Rakuso stuck behind, unable to really find anything. Scratch able to take him out, and Grape Juice is already on the move. He has this all under control. The rest of his team
Grape Juice is in.
Lower.
He's actually going to bomb behind. He's going to go all the way behind, create some chaos here. As blue team's getting in through lower pretty aggressively. They still have Catface on Pudis, and he's moving up. They are going to exchange you. They know they have a Pudis still on. That's going to take up a lot of the heal beam. But Rafam just running behind. He kills Scratch. He makes blue team back up, but this exchange is going Red's way so far.
Yeah, they dropped Scratch. He was next to Catface, and Catface couldn't really do anything with the Uber Ivorth, so it made sure that no one on Red was actually weak post. The only target they had to be able to use the blue Uber was just not able to really get any damage done and chase people down. So 3D able to hold on with that nice play. And Walrex, once again, yep, someone tries to make space with Rakuso looping around behind, but is it going to lead to too much? He does find out at least a little bit.
Grape Juice got him from behind. He was called though. He's going to be able to clean up that one rocket off, but Ash is committing behind for to create some distraction. Mopsy is kind of hurt. They are going to look at him. So Ash is caught behind. Paul Dog is looking for him. He's actually going to take this fight. Ash is still trying to commit. He's actually going to try to jump out. That's a smart play. They did end up dropping Nooch through all that chaos.
Yeah, Raph looks like he's going to be the last one left standing. Finding Hubna maybe? No, just a little bit of a scratch. And so much carnage happening at the same time. Both soldiers deciding, oh, someone's in. All right, I'm in too. So you have to have eyes everywhere to see the action. They are leaving the heavy on mid to cap, so be mindful of the forward, but it looks like it's not going to be too much of a big deal. Domain will not get that forward cap, and with not enough players left alive, 3D3M, they recognize they just have to give up 2 back up to last. They do have their Uber available for them. Raph has respawned, he was changing classes. I thought spawn got extended. So they got all 6 up, they got their Uber.
Ooh, good shot from Walrex.
Yeah, a shot onto Sin Karma will eliminate him as a variable in this lobby hole. So out they go, back outside. Heavy still on the field. He has not died since mid, but this sniper could be a thorn in their side.
Yeah, I was going to say, the thing with the heavy, that Scratch actually almost dying is there's Paul Dog is going to, trade for back up, and same thing, Nooch get a little hurt, they're going to have to back up. But the thing with the heavy, the Pudis, is that if your soldiers aren't that good at pick classes, they're trying to just have to just spam at them, Oh, speaking of pick classes, Walrex is going to get another pick onto Scratch. They're just trying to make some space, but yeah, like I said, they were gonna go for sacks and normal forces on second, but there's just a heavy there. You can't bomb as a soldier into the heavy. You're just gonna get shredded and levitated and probably fragmented. So it's kind of definitely if your team can't adapt to it, I can see this working out. And I think blue team seems very content, at least with Catfish just sitting on the heavy.
And it makes sense that after one bomb in, Walrex is like, nah, I'm not dealing with this. If they want to use the heavy, then I'm gonna, make sure that he's not able to get any peeks in at all. But in response, you see, oh, you're running a perma sniper to counter our heavy. All right, I'm going up sniper as well, so our heavy feels free to do stuff after I kill you.
Who needs scout?
An interesting way to enter potentially the first SVS, depending on how things go and where you peek from, but it's going to be that nonetheless. I'm pretty sure they know the sniper does exist, even though they haven't necessarily seen each other quite yet, as Paul Dog was checking on Spy earlier, so they likely know of Scratch's existence, despite I don't think he's taken a shot quite yet.
Oh, Nooch is thinking about peeking him.
Maybe they don't
He actually
realize
just ran through the sight line like in the perfect way that Scratch really didn't get a good angle on him. Scratch is taking the corner. Yeah, Walrex is taking the corner peek. They're actually both taking the corner peek, and Scratch is gonna be the one who falls there to Walrex. Walrex on a bit of a 3K here. You know, I wouldn't really think as Walrex is traditionally a sniper player, you know, or even a scout main, a hit scan main. But Walrex on the 3K showing what he can do on it. Rafam gonna make some space in lobby, but yeah, Paul Dog cut down by the heavy. It's gonna be hard to sack into the heavy. It's only, you know, I feel like that's gonna be a very hard challenge.
Yeah, you're gonna have to find a way to loop around. At least try to make space so you can get your sniper room and eliminate him in the threat. They're holding these doors pretty hard, and yeah, he tried to make some space, maybe go for a hero shot, but Sin Karma says no.
Scratch back on Sniper wants to have a little bit of a redemption arc after dying to Walrex there. Walrex not a 3K anymore. Rafam was able to spot the heavy and soldier lower, but they're making a lot of space, and actually Nooch is going to fall to Scratch as the sentry gun falls. That's going to be a pretty big opening to walk in here. Walrex is back up on Sniper. He's peeking left side, but Bobsy is actually the one who's going to get forced by Ash. Catface going to fall as well, so the Pudis is finally down, but at what cost?
They almost got the force, but not quite yet. Raph is going to be stuck behind, trying to find a way to get the force.
Oh, he's on!
He's running straight into Hubba, but the damage is not quite there. They've lost Walrex as well. I think he died in lobby, getting body shot by the side of Scratch. So, I mean, they technically got 2 with that Uber, which you would say was fine, but 1, you're on last, and 2, you had 2 people die in the
so
post.
Long. They're going to get these spawns for this. They got to make sure they don't die to the sniper, but... yeah.
And Catface is on Engineer. I guess they're recognizing that they have a teleporter exit. What is this play?
There's 40 seconds
they're going
left.
For the long haul. I guess they're saying that it's fine. We just need the one perfect push immediately. Ubering in as they all reach the shutter. Walrex might give up his life, but it's actually Grape's just going to be the first one to fall. Body shot from the side of Raph, and a lot of weak players from the side of the right team. Paul will be the first one to fall. Maybe Nooch as well. They're on top of the point. Scout falls. Ash unavailable. Ash is on Scout now. Headshot from the side.
That's
taking down, drop down, able to take down Rakuso, and Nooch making sure that Catface is unable to escape, and Scratch gets the one hero shot, but will miss that. So at the end of the day, I mean, Blue has the teleporter, but they got 13 seconds left.
The teleporter could be huge. Yeah, Ash comes up, he's going to take the teleporter. He's going to be instantly there.
Oh,
but no, he didn't take it. No.
It's just there. Okay, he swapped off Engineer.
Okay,
I mean, they obviously have some theories, but 3D, 3M hold on strong.
I mean, if you have a slight Uber, the nice thing about Ring Ash is that he can play Scout or Soldier, right? So if you really want to run a permanent off class, which I will approve of as a stupid Highlander player, that's a player to do it with. As Catface is behind, he is on Scout, and his first operation in Scout is going to go behind. He actually gets 2, he gets Nooch and Rakuso. Finally get Minecrafted by Paul Dog, but sick 2K there from Catface is he's definitely he's giving us some content.
Yeah, once again, another scenario where battles on 2 halves of the map. Walrex is spawning Soldier, so not going to be able to be there for the force incoming from the side of Paul Dog. It's just going to be a 1 Soldier spam and bomb endeavor, which will not do enough to actually get this force out. Walrex actually taking tons of damage on the sniper class inside lobby, so he is indeed pushed back. Grape Juicy giving up a little bit of his life to make sure that is indeed secured, as they got most of their team still waiting on their demo and Catface to arrive.
Oh, we have the
not
counter Brutus.
Yeah, not going to use this Uber quite yet. Give some time for Rakuso to build his gun, and Raph is on heavy, so they don't have tons of mobility to make sure this point is blocked, but as it is indeed sticky, it is blue team through Shutter.
Yeah, Paul Dog gonna take a bunch of early damage. But Sentry Gun is gonna fall down. The Wave Scout on the point. Nooch gonna dead his sticky. So there's still the Buddhist to deal. Sin Karma, he's gonna be very hurt. He's gonna fall as well. This looks like a disaster for blue team. It's all the low ground. Can Catface make it out with his medic? Can he make it out? He does make it out the door. He does get bowed. So him and his medic are gonna be safe for now. But yeah, that's another failed last push for blue team. This time with no off classes too. I think they just had normal cookie cutter.
Yeah, I think they recognized the double defense, that they knew that if they played the point, that it'd be hard for them to block. So they immediately tried to go for it. They unflashed and got to a corner, but I don't think the scout saw this enough. Like a couple of the stickies just ended up dying, and all of a sudden your capture idea doesn't really work out. But kitchen Uber time. Demo
oh, he's so
deep.
Sin Karma super caught in. He's gonna
fall forward. But here's a flank happening. Catface and a soldier friend and Ash are over on the side of the flanks and making sure that a couple will drop. So overall 3v4 endeavor as bomb comes in from the side. A nice ball shot onto Hubba to make sure that he is gone, and Scratch with the last one to fall. And 3D3M will overcome. Was it a player disad? And they just rain like monstrous amounts of damage on top of them in lower.
Dog there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think he got 2 there, didn't he? He got the medic I saw. It was like either an air shot or a wall shot. But regardless, Paul Dog there coming in the clutch, getting that kill. And Ash is on sniper, so they're taking turns making sure someone's the designated off classer. Although I think maybe this is me sitting in the caster's chair, but I feel like having scouts on Snakewater is generally a pretty good strategy.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of wide open areas.
Pretty good scout map.
The fact that high bombs can happen and then you need a kite over towards your bats, it's really nice to be able to have scouts to deny that to some capacity.
It's
But,
good having, you know, the soldier on sniper too. Having a soldier play sniper is so nice. Yeah,
once again, 2 going behind. They're constantly going for these plays, the blue team.
Yeah, that was Recurso. They're cleaning up both bombers as they go in. They do get they killed Wallrex, but at what cost, I guess. But someone can say they got their man, but they're just pushing in. They don't even have a Uber yet, and I really like them. They're down so many players. They're just on point. They did get Hubada in the spawn. Actually, Scratch is gonna fall.
92% or so. They were just a bit separated, unable to get that in time.
They wouldn't have even gone the Uber anyway. They just the player just said, I don't know if they were trying to go behind or what the play was, but that ended up backfiring disastrously.
So far, there is a major trend of the Covenant trying to go behind with their flank, and so far, I mean, in the beginning, it started to work out a decent amount, but now it's getting a bit predictable. It's just a default that I feel like 383M are preparing for just a tad, but
they
not
also
be able to really go behind
DM.
with the mid-fight.
383M has the DM to make sure they just get straight up out DM. They have a Recurso on scout. They got a good soldier player, so the DM isn't different enough that they can get away with that stuff for free.
Oh, nice arrow on Danucci, and he's still alive. He's taking so much damage.
Poldo got levitated.
The Doman lived through it all.
He got Hubada. It was in
No
Cafe
heals.
too. Walrex is still alive. Sin Karma's really hurt. Might get Sin Karma or Catface on the Prowl here, depending. Catface.
He's
1
HP.
One.
That's amazing plays from 3D3M all across the board. Not only did they put out the damage to make sure that some of the more important classes from the side of the Covenant died, but they kept their own alive too to just make it look too much of a daunting task to even go for a sack attempt, because Blue was every single player left alive. I think it was 4 of them were all red HP. It would be such a scrappy play to try to make sure the Mopsy was dead, and with that many people to go through, there's no point. It is back up, and almost even lose Catface near the tail end there.
They did, yeah. They almost lost Catface, and if Catface didn't go for that, Walrex probably could have gotten Sin Karma too. Sin Karma's very hurt in the same position, so like you said, Sin Karma is holding a trap. I don't know where it is, but they found one of them at least. As blue team, they're looking a little aggressive. And Ash
saw he did it.
Ash is going for fake bombs. Grape Juice also going for a fake bomb. Gonna try to get out. So no deaths so far, but they are buying a bit of time. And Catface is behind.
The drop though? No, 98%!
98!
Oh my god, free Uber, they're chasing down what's left over of the Covenant as
our players behind.
Unable to come through. It's just Catface and Ash. Catface a little bit more forward than the side of Ash, trying to escape, but will get caught maybe by the side of Fall Dog. That's one rocket, but eyes not seen on Ash. Will take down one with him, but at the end of the day, what a great, who even did that? That 98% play. It's crazy.
It was one of the soldiers. I must have been Warwick because Paul Dog was alive at the end. But yeah, blue teams, I feel like they're going for was a Recurso. All right. Well, I feel like blue teams going for really high variance plays. You know what I mean? They're like they're great if they work. Like they committed really hard for that. And they had 90%. Blue team had or red team had Uber, but the high variance plays just don't seem to be going their way, and I feel like it's kind of biting them. Right now they're not able to convert these aggressive plays into actual victories, and they're just down a round, and they might be down another one. It's 30% disad.
The one thing that's difficult about that situation is because they had such a giant disad, they were that passive, so it made things difficult in the first place. But the Uber is available and ready and is on its way to kill the gun. Does indeed fall. A little bit of cap time from one of the soldiers, but the Stickies are still there as they're surrounding by the side of the truck from the side of the Covenant. Bomb coming in from the side of Walrex, able to make sure that's a one-to-one trade.
Just not getting shot.
The Uber heavy, not really able to chase too much. There's some damage, but it seems like that's going to be it. Overall, 3 people dead in this Uber, weird Uber exchange endeavor, but they're trying to make some moves. They're actually pushing through lower, getting balled by the ornament, just a tad on low ground. Soldiers making space. You have Ash going actually really deep. Bring Mopsy down to 5 HP, getting scattered out of the air by the side of Catface. No heals available. Oh yeah, the bomb comes in, trying to equalize things. Walrex finding his way over to Lasso.
Nooch is in.
Grape Juice, but Grape Juice will win that, and Nooch is left alone. And 3D3M, they have their scouts left alive, but that is not enough. The only saving grace they had is that it was a medic trade, so the Covenant able to successfully work their way out of their last, had to suffer a few losses along the way, but we'll make sure that their backs aren't completely up against the wall this time around.
Yeah, Covenant have 10% ad, so nothing huge, not really super buildable, I'd say. Both teams, blue team doing a good job, make sure they're building immediately so their disad isn't. Even worse is, I don't think red team thinks they have ad, even though they had like a 5-second spawn advantage. It wasn't that big. They weren't able to build.
Mopsy knows that they were running alone for a sec, so any ad kind of dwindled away to nothing.
Yeah, so we're going to be sitting in our stalemate. We actually have all, generalist classes here. No funny memes, no Kutai, no snipers. So we'll have to see how they actually want to approach this without a heavy just immediate. We'll have to see if 3D3M actually wants to, sack when there's not just like a heavy preventing you from playing the game.
Yeah, Probably have to do a bit of spotting so you can even see if the medic is in a sackable position. With how far back Hubba's playing, it might be a bit difficult, at least if he continues to play that far back on the ramp. But he's starting to get more aggressive. He's nearby on the point area, so I might actually go for it. But they're actually poking around through lower, find some traps from the side of Sinkarma. Rakuso has made his way through, being a little bit greedy, doesn't want to debt on this one player, wants to see if they can get anything better. The bomb comes through from Walrick, and the second shot from Hubba, large amounts.
Two flank players going, and Nooch is running straight into him. He gets two shot. This could be a collapse. They're gonna have to use. They need to get kills here. They got the medic, but if they don't get these kills, it's not gonna be worth it, and they're not gonna get the kills. Ash going on the flank. So big plays there from the flank, able to get those kills and get out, even though the medic dropped. You know, that is the upside, is that if you go for those high variance plays where you're saying 2 players behind when you're pushing second, actually Ash gonna fall, getting caught out in lobby as I'm speaking. So, you know, a bit of an upset, unfortunate there for Blue, and Red has Ad again.
Yeah, it's a little bit larger than I think they would expect because Hubba wasn't healing for a sec, but Paul, he's trying to make some space so they can dry in early off the picks they have. So Chase is on by the side of Grape Juice, able to trade out, but it's just a trade at the end of the day. And the pipes, though, taking down Mopsy. Sinkarma going huge, and now they're trying to make sure the exit is secure.
Oh,
but
they're so hurt.
Oh, they're so hurt, but they're able to get out the most important class in Hubba out alive. They've given up Catface, but overall trade for Kuso. Raft's in, and so is Walrix, but they're unable to collect the frags. Nooch a bit too far forward, will be unable to get the final pipe on a scratch, and at the end of the day, the dry fight, it was ambitious, but at the end of the day, the execution is not there, and the Covenant, they've survived. They've worked their way back to mid. They have a really nice ad to work with, too, and I don't think they can quite stack the cap to block the spawns and just dry and take a second for free, but they can definitely use it. Just have to be mindful of Raft spawning on Sniper.
I was thinking, I literally thought I saw Raft dead, and I saw they decided, I was like, ooh, Raft's gonna go Sniper and hide him forwards. And lo and behold, I was right on that one. But yeah, they're actually gonna Uber it through Saw immediately, but there's no red players to shoot. It's just Raft and forwards, and he even doesn't, yeah, he back spawns. So the Uber there, they got second, but this is turning into a leapfrog situation. Red team just has to be careful that nothing disastrous happens. Leapfrogging out of last is always a little more stressful than normal.
Yeah, very sketchy. That's why a lot of teams are just happy to take 2 and all, even if they don't really get many kills. But the Uber coming out might find Catface.
Oh, Catface is going behind. They spotted him, but can they kill him? Bulldog is gonna get him, and they got him.
Yeah, Scratch will fall.
Oh, they get scratched. Yeah, no scouts is gonna. That's gonna make this a little harder because it means building's gonna be harder. Yeah. I don't think they have the samurai sword or anything weird going on. And Red team is definitely, they want to be aggressive off that. They're taking in mid, and they don't want to get in the same situation. Grape Juice actually is going to fall.
Oh my god, Nooch caught both soldiers. He knew that there's no scouts to actually clean him up, so if he thinks he's the better projectile class, he's just going to walk his way through, and that he did. No swords available. They're not going to be able to get the spawn either. Catface is behind, so that's going to be a thorn on their side, but he's immediately taking the 2v1. He's able to get one. Is he going to get the second? He got Raft.
Oh, it's so close.
Raft took the pack, though, and will survive through that, so at the end of the day, it's only going to slow them down just a tad, but the Uber available for the side. Hubba 90% finally reaching it. You know, some space made from the soldiers. Rakuso behind, might go for a play. He is spotted, though, so they're spamming him down, but he's actually escaping.
He's gonna live, yeah.
They're going soft, so
it's tough to fight that if you're not close, you know? Because you have to go, like, peek over the thing, and they might be there. And they want to take this, but both teams are approaching Uber. I think it's Scratch, actually, he is going to get dropped and going to get piped through Sticky to drop the 5 HPs. This is getting a little sketchy for Blue. Rakuso is dead, but they're fighting on Blue team side of the map. Their respawns are going to be there faster.
Yep. Watch this post, though. They're able to trade 1 for 1. No scouts over the blue team, though. Hubba is so far forward. Grab just goes in, collects 2, and makes sure that Blue is really unable to work with very much at all after that post. Grape Juice, a bit aggressive, is healthy, but the rest of the team has to go all the way back to spawn. The only giant threat is Grape Juice maybe bombing in and making space for Scratch, going for a hero play on Sniper here in lobby, but I don't really know if that's going to be enough. He's already taken 1 shot. He knows that's all he's going to get. Already backing up. They could just go straight through lower to catch him or through the left side. So backing up, need a gun. They have a pyro as well to maybe just bank on the fact that Shutter will be the door that people will push through. I mean, it's most of the time it's Shutter. Well, there's a couple times you can see a team push through, you know.
Yeah.
The left hand from their perspective, but...
So how do you feel? I feel like, you know, on paper, we would have thought Blue was... What do you think Blue team or Red team is doing well or poorly in your opinion? That's kind of leading to Blue just, you know... I feel like they're on the back foot constantly. Even when they have the advantage, they're just kind of... I don't know. What do you think?
I feel like the Blue is getting a little bit predictable as this match goes on and it's making it more difficult for them, but they have definitely found the correct door and won the roulette. Yeah,
that was a hard read, by the way. Speaking of predictable, they sometimes, you know, if you're in a bad situation, you just gotta pick a door and hope they go through that door, and sometimes it does work out. They just go through that door, so... You know, hold right click on Pyro, gotta, you know, that's 1 Uber wasted. Good job.
That's why you don't really see it on Snakewater, as you think of other maps, and it's like a very short rotation if you find out they're going some other different door. But Snakewater, it's a bit too wide, but the Uber coming in. Oh, maybe finding Raph and
Cafe's
Scout.
though,
Wait,
getting a little aggressive.
God, he just takes down Cafe. It's not enough sticky damage to make sure he's low enough, and floodgates have opened. You see some initiation. Wallworks will lose the 1v1 over on the side of Ash, on the side of Saw.
Recruso winning a 1v1.
There's all the soldiers jumping back and forth, trying to make space for the team to continue this fight, and both teams are still showing some promise, but Blue has recognized it. It's a bit too scrappy. They've lost one extra player throughout all this, plus they have disad. So just back to last you go, better safe than sorry. Engineer up again. Another Pyro? Perchance? No, just the
Think you
engineer.
go the other doors Pyro now?
No,
Just the second hard
not.
read.
They're probably just going to go straight through lower and try to kill Grape Juice, but Grape Juice jumps away early, so unable to find a frag immediately. Onto the engineer before the gun, but unable to get the damage there to make sure that frag is secured. Everyone on blue is relatively safe.
All of
There's
these
a
is
lot of
waddling
cap time,
around. And I am watching. He's going for a bomb now. He's going to bomb, get good damage on Grape Juice. Grape Juice got the backup. There is a Pudis, but it doesn't matter. Blue team had the health advantage, but red team stood on the point. That's really what matters. The Pudis couldn't fight it. And that's going to be 2-0 for 3D3M.
Covenant actually did a really, really good job of playing safe to make sure they were not unhealthy or like out of position while the Uber was going on. But as soon as the Uber was over, there was just not quite enough aggression to make sure they were available to actually block the point in time. So
And Paul Dog bombed Grape Juice, so Grape Juice had to bomb away from the point, which was huge.
Cap time is king, and that'll be another round for the side of 3D3M as we go into the third mid-fight.
And most definitely, as we do see, St. Karma getting a little aggressive on the right side here. His left, gonna spam out, make sure, here comes Grape Juice as well. A pretty aggressive bid from blue team, and they're gonna get Nuke immediately, so no more Nuke miracles this time. As Raph is so hurt, he's still fighting, but he's gonna fall. This is a disaster for 3D3M. As we're telling, it's only Paul Dog behind versus a Scout and Demo. Although two soldiers behind now, that might create a little bit of chaos. Paul Dog still going in, and they get caught at the tail end.
I mean, that's really all you need. It was definitely not a great mid from the side of 3D3M, but just barely enough in the tank to make sure you can salvage that at the very last second, so you're not going to be on your last for so long.
Recruso did such good work. They're just running in to bind, because Paul Dog was so hurt. Both the soldiers were pretty hurt, so Recruso just running in, drawing eyes really was what opened that up.
Yeah, and Mopsy actually should have a bigger ebb. I don't think they didn't heal as soon as they spawned. I don't know what was up. I wasn't looking at, like, them in spawn. Oh,
they're on crits.
So they, instead of just taking the small, like, raw Uber ad from dying first, they said, no, we're going to take it one step further. We're going to go crits to make it even bigger.
How do you crits from second to third to mid?
Yeah, that's the weird thing. One, you're critching from second to third, which you could
you just go lower?
do. But here's the thing. The Covenant know that because Hubba died so late, they have disad, so they're already positioned in a very safe space to make sure they wouldn't be able to die to a really aggressive Uber. Except it's not going to be Uber, it's going to be crits. So it's going to be very difficult for them to pull this off. They expect this initiation, and they're
look at
for
Blue,
it.
they're just all in the high ground. There's actually a soldier behind, so he's going to be able to spot this, and they aren't going to be Uber in. The crits have popped out as well. One crit stick, he's going to kill Scratch, but Paul Dog's going to fall. But there's two red players behind it. I don't know if they know. They're all turning around for him. Recruso's going to fall. Is he? Okay, he is going to fall then. So the red flag is going to get cleaned up here. Blue, and now the combo kind of got baited because of that. They got to be really careful. They're going to escape to last year. Still on crits, so the question is, do you go to last year, swap off of crits, or do you just stay on it because you don't want to have bigger disad?
At this point, you probably have to stay on it, but the swap there was definitely a bit of a misplay. The opponents already have an incentive to play hyper defensive and make sure that you're unable to push into you, so you're choosing the metagun that you have to push into them. So it kind of pigeonholes your strategy in a place where they're already kind of prepared. But you reap what you sow, you are stuck on it, and they gotta try to use it, but it's too little, too late. Yeah, their health is pretty poor. They just want to use this Uber ad. They know that they're just gonna kill the Chris players, and they're just running through lower. I gotta get the gun first, but they're gonna be able to find people over
there's
by
no
the
one to block
side.
Scratch on the point. Now there is, but the Uber lasted for so long.
Yeah, they get like 2% of the Uber off, and it's... Yeah.
Scratch didn't take damage on the point, and also they didn't even get the crits. Mopsy is at 98% apparently, or they just used one of the two.
They just used it and got 2% of the crits off.
Ooh, you know, someone's gun was shiny for a second, but let's get around on the board for 3D3 the Covenant, so they are going to be able to fall their way back into it a bit. You know, we still have 3 minutes left on the round timer, or 6, one of the two. So
yeah,
there's only a little bit of time left for infinite overtime, and this has been a pretty close match so far.
Yep. Got another mid on our hands. Doesn't seem like anyone's going as fast as they were. Paul Dog jumped forward a little bit, but you have no one really committing up until now. Double soldier bomb over on a Mopsy. They want to make sure that even if they don't win this mid, they definitely don't lose it too hard. But they've given up 3 to make sure that Mopsy is dead.
They're all leaving a little late too, and Scratch might be caught out but he's going to get the pack. So Raphael still chasing, and the Nooch is going in. Actually, he wants to. This is very bad.
Oh,
Scratch is going to run into his face.
To
Oh.
respawn time.
Oh, they're going to get Scratch off of that, trading a demo for a scout. And Red's still going. They want to go for the flank, or at least Raphael does. He's in last. They're going to be looking at him, but he's going to get out. Sees that there's no place to be had, but they bought a lot of space with that. Blue has full Uber, but they're all in last, and they can push out here, but they just got to be careful because Red is going to get this point.
Yeah, that demo frag was
Or maybe
so
they're
good,
not
but
actually.
Here's the thing, with the demo frag, they can't lock down these doors nearly as safely, and everyone has to back up. Even Walrex, who was trying to hold the door, has to give up his life on accident, like trying to back up, just unable to make sure that he's able to escape. And the Uber is ready for the side of the Covenant. They really banked on, we'll just kill the medic. It's fine. We'll work our way back in, but a blind bomb coming from Paul Dog, maybe able to find, but not quite enough damage onto Sin Karma. And with no soldiers available, just walking in, Walrex first, and then Paul Dog, free mid from them. And if they block Paul Dog's spawn, which they don't even need to try too hard to do, they can be able to get, they might be able to get grass for free as well. Yeah, Nooch is 8 in grass. Walrex gonna fall. Maybe Raph get hit scan down. Will get taken down by Sticky, and they're bleeding so hard.
They're just going to last. Nooch is caught too.
Well. Ash gets the frag. They're just hemorrhaging right now. They're all the way back to last.
Yeah, this is a disaster. They're went all the way from second to last. They haven't gone the force, and they still don't have Uber. That's 3 points.
And no one able to really block last in any sense of the word. Just in the corner.
Raphael's in there. Going to get the force, but Red team, they have 10%. Can they hold off to get this 10%? It doesn't look like they can, and that is second to last with it on 1 Uber.
That's like chain feed after chain feed after chain feed after chain feed.
Without anything, too.
That's like a classic, like, you're not sure if you're holding or not, so you're just like kind of around just in case, and then because you're kind of around in between, you just die. And it happens 3 points in a row. So, you know, as much though as it is like a mistake, it's actually very good from the side of Covenant to make sure that you're recognizing that and jumping forward and making sure these players aren't able to escape, which they almost did a couple times, so hats off to them. But you know, they're even mid-fight. We'll see if the strategy is the same for the side of the Covenant, if they're going to go straight for Mopsy, or if that's going to change. It doesn't look like the initiation has changed too much. Yeah, he is really hurt. Double Soldier Bomb, once again, onto Mopsy. Not going to immediately explode. It's going to be Ash that does indeed fall, but Mopsy will indeed die. Target down as Hubba has to escape. They've lost a couple important classes, right? But they are in the thick of it. They got some damage on the Hubba, but they're all inside Saw.
He's going to 2-shot Catface, and that might be a little bit of a courtesy, as Raphael is very far behind. I think they're looking for him. They know, or do they? Okay, there's a soldier looking for him. He's going to fight this soldier. Oh, Sin Karma going to turn around and get that. That might buy enough time for them to get mid, but probably not. There's no demo to block things off either, so like you said, they're going to be able to roll in here scot-free. Paul Dog, he's going to get the pack and not feed, so they're going to be able to set up on second, but Red Team, 3D and 3M, they were up 2-0 with only a couple minutes left, and they're very quickly getting on the back foot in this match.
Yeah, it seems like they finally found their footing in a way. They've changed things up. Their level of aggression has swapped a bit. They haven't done the flank plays as much as they previously did, so it's actually 3D3M that's going to go for a flank play this time. They're trying to, flush out Grape Juice and Catface, but seems like they are wise enough to the situation. Walrex will end up dying behind, committing, and it seems like Rakuso's barely able to get out 50 HP, trying to get out their keys.
Maybe.
Tons of space taken from the side of the Covenant, taking down 2, and they don't even have mid yet. So there was a slight player disad that 3D3M was trying to use, because they knew that one person was back on mid capping, but unable to execute it properly. They bought enough time, at least for their Uber, made things slow enough. But at the end of the day, last is not a place you really want to be, as some space is being made by the Covenant immediately. They want us to see if they can dry a little bit before they can have their sacks go in, but Ash will fall. Grape Juice, he got annihilated by the Sentry Gun, able to really get too deep in.
That's a 2-man. Wait, Sin fell too. Paul Dog, I didn't even notice. That's huge. There's no projectiles. It's just 2 scouts. If they see 2 scouts and a medic, they know they can just hold W. Nooch is bombing in.
Oh, that is a large commit. Oh my god.
And he got
saved. That is a high risk, high reward play. It definitely pays off.
Just for okay. All right, Nooch. We see you out there, but that was a psychopath play. You just bombed into 2 scouts and lived.
And the crazy thing is, if he dies there, that could be very
so bad if he dies.
Because it could be a dry push right now for the side of the blue team, but it's the other way around with Catface being dead. But it is just a hit scan class. They're able to trade their way in. They got to win this pretty fast, though. They are working against the clock when it comes to respawn as well. Hubba is going to fall. Rakusa able to work his way through.
Sin's really hurt too. Sin might just die to spam if they're not careful.
Yeah. They're getting a lot of damage on him. Backing outside, they have to go all in. It's now or never. They're trying to find the way into Raph. He is going to get 3v1 as the rest of the team decides to back up and keep what little they have left and try it another day. Trying to poke around through lower the Covenant. Their health is alright, but still no buffs to be had, as 3-3M know they can play their health advantage, even if it means they give up a little bit of positioning.
Yeah, they have the players now, so they can fight. Walrex is going to go. He's going for the play, but the question is, did they use his Uber ad? You know, where did they use it? Sin's still committing. He's kind of blue team got to be careful here that they don't get hurt. Yeah, Sin is getting nuked in the door. He's just gonna get a bow, gonna get out, but playing a fire a bit. They have 50% ad to work with, and I assume you use it to get here. But look where Hubbard is standing. If this turns to a leapfrog, you could just lose the game.
Oh, and Cheese as well. They immediately explode Rakuso and are getting damage onto Walrex as well. This flank, this is immediately really bad for the side of 3-3. Not only
It's just Raph aiming. He's gonna die.
They lose one on the entry, they lose one on the post, and they lost 2v2 on the flank. That is a textbook outplay from the side of the Covenant. And I mean,
yeah, that's such a late death. Yeah, that was a kill blind.
I mean, no one was really on him, but at the end of the day, you should probably expect that.
Yeah. Even if you live there, it's basically the same thing as Ash. Ash is gonna fall to Rakuso. We might see one of the handed spawn camps here. They're gonna spawn camp. Walrex is on spy.
Yeah,
no, I get it. They're gonna try to hold on to last. Oh, that's a spawn camp.
Oh right, they're thinking they're gonna spawn.
So he's gonna stab Sin. He's gonna stab Sin. They're never gonna expect it, but I don't know if they can block the point.
He has to stab Sin.
Yeah, he gets Sin.
And the floodgates are open. No more stickies on top of it.
No more stickies. That was a.
Yeah, that was actually a 5-head play. That wasn't even immediately obvious.
Wait, they had the wrong config.
But that's the wrong config too, so it didn't even matter. Oh my god.
Well then.
Well, I think at this point a conversation says on
they're saying, oh, we messed up, it's yours.
Yeah, they're recognizing that they were probably lost that, and I think this is also their server, 3D3M, so it's like kind of their mistake. So I think they're coughing it up, saying, yeah, no, you guys take it, you guys win 3-2.
Yeah.
Which is, I think that's fair. That's respectful. Like if you own up to the mistake, you were on the back foot. You had like the demo kill, which is cool, but you had almost practically lost. So
it was your mistake. So it's not really. I don't think it's really fair to the team. Go, well, we were actually about to push out a last, and it was like, nah.
Right.
They made the good gaming, the good good manners play of just forfeiting that.
Well, at least it's a flashback added to the memory pool of making sure it doesn't happen again. You can just look at it that way.
True.
Overall, Covenant really came back. They started off like they were fine, but they were definitely not that strong. It was a pretty even game when you would kind of assume that they would be in the driver's seat for most of it. But they definitely, once they got used to what was on the plate and what 3D3M was bringing to the table, overall able to secure it and come back. So props to them. It took them a bit to change up what they were doing and have it come in moderation. I don't think they fully ever quit going behind, but the fact that it wasn't every single time was definitely very good for them. And the fact that we saw a lot of different mids, I think from both teams, is also pretty good as well. It's never really good to be a one trick when it comes to the leading strategy, especially on Snakewater, which is so snowbally and hard to predict or hard to fix. So the fact that both teams kind of change things up on whether or not you're going super fast at the beginning of mid, or if that target selection is going to be like a fragging class, like a demo, or you're just trying to get the medic and get out. So both showed promise. Makes sense that it was a very even game, but at the end of the day, Covenant reigned supreme.
They did, and Covenant, even if it was on a technicality, Covenant did look towards the end there pretty dominant overall. Although I do have to shout out, Walrex did have, that was kind of a 5-head intelligent play from him stabbing Sin Karma, because you knew they were going to spawn camp to try not to reset the round.
That just comes with experience with this new config. You play with it enough, and you're like, you expect the spawn camp. You're actually attentive to the timer.
Yeah, he did the right thing, but then they had the wrong config, and it was his team, so it's not like he can blame the other team too.
But I think one thing that everyone can agree with is this matchup is pretty good. And I'm really excited to see what happens later on, because I think early on I described this as a match of teams that are trying to get playoffs to various degrees. I think on paper, to a lot of people, you kind of assume that the Covenant is going to be able to, the accolades they've already collected as a overall team, you kind of expect them to slot into playoffs somewhere. But the fact that 3D3M shows this much promise when they're, they still around mid-invite, shows that maybe they can find a way to slip in if they can get some wins against the right team. So not only is that a statement for a good game when it comes to the rematch of these two, but also really high matches for both these teams and their surrounding opponents as well as we go later into the season. So it's showing some good things and some good promises for this season so far.
Most definitely. Looking at the stats, nothing too extreme. Both demos having good games, but it's Snakewater, that makes sense. Vaughn dying a bit more, but he was also he was playing like a Chad, so I think that's justified.
He was definitely playing very high risk, high reward, and we saw a lot of the moments where it paid off, but other times it's just gonna lead you dead.
Yeah. Actually, Recruso having a little bit of a sad stat line, but it's flank scout and he was on last a lot, so add a couple. I'll add like 40 DPM from just playing engineer and etc.
He
Probably
made some
rounds out the
pretty
stats.
pretty crucial plays. There were like 2 or 3 times
Yeah,
where he just barely killed Hubada, so
yeah, yeah. He had even if the stats don't show it, I think Recruso had a good game, and yeah. I don't know if we're getting any interviews. We will see. As we aren't getting interviews. All right, so we'll get to hear live their reaction when wrong config.
that's always a surprise. I mean, you play it with the config, just scram to make sure you get all the maps covered, so you don't wanna accidentally play one map for, like, 45 minutes, and then you're just like, "We didn't play all these other maps and practice them," but then, sometimes you just forget to swap, it's how it goes, but we do have some people funneling in, we got the Covenant on board. We'll get them unmuted. Hello, guys, congratulations on your victory.
It was very tough fought.
So at
I
this
got
point oh,
I
no,
got.
go you go ahead.
I want to talk about the Putis. The Putis was very. I liked the Putis. What was the theory there?
I just like the
Catface.
off class man. There's
Yeah,
no
he's
theory
a
behind it.
he's
We
the
didn't discuss it. I just said I'm going heavy to mid, and they didn't tell me not to, so I did it.
Catface is the little trickster for invite. He's gonna be doing
I
that a
love it.
lot probably.
Keep it up. Keep it up. I love that sort of thing.
So at this point, you're earning week 2, you got already, like, at least 1.5 weeks under your belt, plus the off season of making sure that you can, like, play teams before you have matches against them, so you get used to them. Was there anything in particular that you guys knew that you had to really prepare for when it came to playing against 3D3M to make sure you could take it away?
Well, honestly, the map in general wasn't our best. It's probably why we struggled. We've been struggling for a little while on Snakewater, so it was a little scary to get into it, but we were able to stabilize and fix most of our mistakes like 15 minutes into the game, so we were able to close it out from there. We think that team is pretty good out of all of the other teams. We think they might get a good fourth or fifth place, so it was about what we expected out of them.
What was the biggest thing you think you changed after that halfway point through the game?
We had to change our comms up a little bit, and I had to stop running into doors and dying instantly. Their mids were really aggro too, and we didn't expect it at first. And me and our med were disconnected a lot, but once we fixed that and got our mids aggro properly, we were able to take the rest of the mids for the game. So that's good.
I noticed that you guys went behind a lot. Do you think that's something that's gonna be overall a strength for your team, or do you think that was just a way to make sure that with how scary Snakewater can be, as you said before, that you wanna, like, create enough chaos where it's hard for them to formulate a plan?
Catface is really, really good at going behind and making plays, and Grape Juice is our debut player, so having them both together is good because Catface can coordinate with him a lot easier, and it's typically pretty easy for our flank to make pretty solid plays. So we do rely on Catface a lot to try to get behind and make plays for us when we're having some trouble, to say the least, on our combo.
Who do you think really carried the torch? Who was the MVP that really made sure that, as close as it was, that it was a sealed deal victory?
I'd like to say everybody kind of played their part. Ash did his job as a ringer, and I think everybody kind of just showed up and played well. I don't think anybody was necessarily a standout. The game was extremely slow, as everybody saw from the stats. Like nobody even got above like 230 DPM, so
Mhm. Uh,
cozy.
there's a lot of teams this season. It's a 10-team season, sometimes you have less. So there's a lot of opponents.
hmm
Any come to mind at this point where you're like, "Oh, yeah, I definitely want like, I can't wait for that match. I wanna try to play them, I wanna try to beat them."
Well, of course, the typical answer would be Froyotech and G6. Everybody obviously wants to beat them, but I think we have a pretty decent chance. We're still a little far away from G6, but I think we go pretty even most of the time against Furio. Sometimes they beat us, sometimes we beat them. So hopefully, our match coming up next week, we'll be able to show up and
Yo,
beat
shout
them.
out to Mojo the Kid for beating Freya 4-3. Peep the logs, everybody. He's up next.
Mojo is up next. That is true.
4-3. That must have been cough or slow.
Nah, it was
Yeah,
process. I dropped
Process.
Oh, that's
42
just a
on them.
slow
They got
cough.
dumpstered.
Okay.
Process, the
Yeah.
classic.
Classic. I noticed you guys have matching profile pictures. That's great for team synergy. I like that.
We're building up the team synergy.
It's
Yeah, the
always
team
important.
synergy.
Oh, one thing I wanted to ask Catface, since you technically have like a small core from season 9 advance, when you first formed this team, did you immediately start to feel like some of that come back, or was it still like the normal building process since you still have the old, the other half of the team to make sure everything is like all clean and concise.
Okay, so Season 9 Covenant was a team that was built around the fact that all of our players were very terrible in the classes that they were playing on. Like, I'm playing Soldier, I play on 20 inches, and I'm the fucking derpiest soldier in the world. So we really had to play around the fact that I had to improve. We were playing with Grape Juice, who of course had never won Advanced by that point. Sin had never placed above 5th on Scout. Hubada had never played outside of main, and Derp hadn't played the game for 3 years. So what was really important in that season was building a team environment that was healthy and constructive for learning and becoming better players. Covenant in Season 11 is kind of the opposite of that. We're all kind of DM players on our mains, and the constructive building environment isn't exactly where it was in Season 9, but I hope that's something we can improve on over time.
And you got a lot of time ahead of you, so you make sure you can make the most of it and have the season turn out how you want. But can't wait to see how the rest of your matches go. Going to be really hyped with this close one and the other matches that you're going to have that I only can assume, like you said, the Freya match. If it's like you said, you've been going back and forth, that should be definitely one that people aren't going to want to miss. But I think we're probably about done with the questions. Anything else coming to mind, Space?
No, I'm good.
All right, time to go over to shoutouts. Any last minute thoughts or things that come to mind when before we go ahead and close out the stream, starting with Catface?
Shout out to the enemy team, of course, for putting up a good match. Some very respectable players on that team. Of course, like Rakuso, Paul Dog, very upstanding players, up and comers as well, like Rafame. Hope to see him do well in the future because he played very well this match. Shout out to my team, of course. Shout out to Ash for ringing for us. Shout out to Elena Moneta for sponsoring me and Scratch's wedding. Shout out to Goofball. Shout out to Poe. Oh, shout out to Mustard Overlord. That's my final shout out.
Ooh, the mustard shout out.
What about you, Scratch?
Shout out to Della, the second best furry in this game. That's my only statement.
That's a good one. All
What
right.
about you, Space?
I'm shouting out everyone watching. Shout out to production as always. Shout out to Skis, and I've been instructed to shout out Ducks. So shout out Ducks for
Of course, shout out Ducks.
I've been instructed.
As always, thanks everyone for watching. When it comes to more games, gonna have to probably wait until next week until things get scheduled. Obviously, it's gonna be probably Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, and the like. Don't know for sure quite yet, but if you can't wait until then, there's always gonna be Highlander every single Monday at 9:30 to keep you, sated up until then. But for tonight, that'll be it for us. I've been Jarrett, casting with Space Ghost with Dolphin on production. Thank you and good night.
Yeah.